Good evening, everybody. Welcome to lesson number 2 in this series called Decoding Algebra. Today's session, we're going to cover linear equations. Before I go ahead, let me tell you briefly about myself. मैंने क्या किया है? My name is Anand. I was born and brought up in. I'm a Delhiite. नाम से मत जाना. I'm a Delhiite, born and brought up in Delhi. Did my schooling in Delhi, then did my engineering from Vellore, did my postgrad from Bangalore. तो थोड़ा क्रॉस कल्चरल एक्सपीरियंस रहा है. I have trained for the last 10 years as a quant and verbal instructor, which means that I've trained thousands of students into the very best of B schools. I myself take CAT every few years. Last time I took CAT was in CAT 2018, and that's when I scored a 99.55 percentile. Well, I'm very, very excited to be in the company of the educators at Unacademy. बहुत very, very exciting team, very, very talented set of individuals that I'm teaching with, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy learning from us as much as I do, right? Okay, about today's session. So what are we learning today? We're going to deal with the basics of linear algebra, linear equations. Essentially, I'll quickly run you through the basics of linear equations. Then we'll get into the problem types, specifically 3 problem types that I'll deal with today. Word problems, which are probably the easier variety, but then also talk about number of solutions and how to deal with problems which ask for integer solutions, right? So those are the areas that we'll focus on today. At this point, let me also tell you that this is a daily series that we're hosting on the Unacademy channel. Educators are going live daily. My timings are 6 p.m. with a snap batch. I also have a snap quant batch, that is. I also have a CAT 2021 batch where I'm doing algebra. That's an 8 p.m. batch, right? So you can catch me at 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. every single day. To more details about our schedules and stuff, do follow us on Telegram. That's our URL, CAT4MBA. But you can also directly look at my schedule. This is my Unacademy channel, Anand for Quant. Most of my schedules will be going live here. Right. Besides the courses that we are delivering on YouTube, there's also very, very exciting batches that we're starting on the Unacademy app. Obviously, on the Unacademy app, things are going to be a little more rigorous. We're going to get into a lot more detail, and it goes without saying that it's a lot more interactive than it is on YouTube, because you can interact with the educators. You can ask live doubts. The educators can interact with you a lot more seamlessly, right? So do check it out. There are 2 batches: the complete weekday batch for CAT 2021 and the absolute batch for CAT 2021. Both of them targeting CAT for next November, which start on the 28th of December. Make sure that you check these out on the Unacademy app. Another reason, obviously, that I'm telling you about all of this is that you need to check this out early, because joining one of these batches will need a valid subscription. You can see once you try that, you will see plenty of options, but my suggestion would be to go for the 12-month or the 24-month plan. You can see you can see the ones that I'm highlighting on the screen, 12-month, 24-month plans. Don't worry, that's not the price you pay for it. Use my referral discount AV01, right? Discount code that will give you 10% off each of these programs, right? Any subscription plan. Make sure that you do that. Well, what do we cover today? We'll start with the basics of linear equations. What exactly is a linear equation? It's nothing but a degree 1 expression, right? It's a linear equations will typically contain x, y, z. बहुत सारे variables हो सकते हैं, but सबका power 1 होगा. Degree 1 क्या बताता है? There is only one possible solution, right? As long as it's a linear equation and one variable, that is. In general, what is the rule to be able to solve and get solutions? Well, you can solve if you have as many equations as the number of unknown variables, right? As long as these things are equal, you can solve it, right? But thing to keep in mind is that how do you go about solving it, right? Again, that's something that's fairly basic. I'm sure you guys have studied this at school and college. How to solve? Well, You can either use the substitution method or you can use the elimination method. Each of these approaches can help you solve. You remember substitution? Though, let's consider an equation, right? A pair of equations here. You can see two variables x and y, hence two equations are given to us. 2x plus 3y equals 13 and the other one. Let me quickly grab a pen. Yes. So x and y, the two variables, you have these two equations. Substitution में क्या करेंगे? x का value assume x का value निकाल लेंगे पहले equation से. That's 13 minus 3y whole divided by 2. You take this and you substitute it in the other equation, right? So that becomes 5 times 13 minus 3y upon 2 plus 4y equals 22, right? And this becomes a linear equation only in y. So I can solve and get the value of y. Once you have y, substitute to get the value of x also, right? So fairly straightforward how to use the substitution method. How about elimination? Well, x के coefficient को equal बनाने की कोशिश करते हैं, right? So you take 2x, you multiply this with 5, that becomes 10x. You multiply 5x with 2, that becomes 10x, which means first equation transforms into 10x plus 15y equals 65. The second equation becomes 10x plus 8y equals 44. And on subtracting, you will get 15 minus 8. 15y minus 8y is 7y equals 65 minus 44. That's 21, which means y will be 3. And the moment you have y, you substitute and get the value of x, right? So fairly straightforward. ये स्कूल में पढ़ चुके हैं. मैंने सोचा 2 मिनट में recap करा देता हूँ. But I think linear equations are easy to work with, right? As long as you have as many equations as the number of variables, it's not a big challenge. Okay, so then what exactly are we talking about? One more thing that you should keep in mind is the graphical perspective, right? What does a linear equation denote when it is plotted on a graph, right? So well, think about a single variable, right? If you have an equation in a single variable, it's going to be a point on the number line, right? X equal to 5 means number line pe x equal to 5, x equal to minus 3 will be to the left of the origin, right? Similarly, if you have a linear equation in two variables, so what does that denote? Well, if you consider an xy plane, it denotes a straight line, right? Example लेते हैं ना. So for example, if I consider an equation x plus y is equal to 5, है ना? तो intent क्या है ये मतलब what does this statement tell me? It tells me that there will be a straight line which will have infinite points. All points are solutions to this, right? But how do I get that straight line? Well, you just put, you calculate something called intercepts. How do you get intercepts? Put x equal to 0, I'll get y is equal to 5. Put y is equal to 0, I'll get x equal to 5, right? Which means I get the 2 points 0, 5, that's over here, 0, 5. And I also get 5, 0, that's the point over here, 5, 0. And if you join these 2 points, lo and behold, that's a straight line, right? So that's how you get the straight line representing every single linear equation. So fair enough, established that a linear equation is graphed as a straight line. What if you have 3 variables in an equation? Well, it's just going to be a little more complicated. It's like a 3-dimensional space within which you're considering a plane, right? Think about like a flat piece of surface in the plane, right? Instead of a straight line, it's an entire flat surface, right? That's called a plane. So if you have a linear equation with 3 variables, that's going to denote a plane. ज़रूरत नहीं है इसकी, but again there's no harm knowing, right? But more importantly, I think I want you to focus on what does it mean when you solve, right? When we are solving linear equations simultaneously, like if I give you 2 linear equations and I'm asking you to solve them simultaneously, what you're thinking is that you're trying to find where these curves intersect, right? And so 2 straight lines will be intersecting. If it's 2 variables, 2 straight lines will intersect, probably give you a single point of intersection. That's what you're trying to chase. Alright, enough about that. We will revisit this aspect in some time, but for now let's deal with some basic problems, right? What is a word problem? Problem expressed in words. Usually these problems can be translated directly into equations that are linear in nature, है ना? These problems can be about people and their ages. It could be about how many coins and notes I have in my wallet and how much money that translates into. It could be simply the number of animals I have in my shed. Many situations. But how do you go about constructing these linear equations? Well, बहुत simple rules है. Again, 10th class में I'm sure you guys have studied this, but I'm going to recap. Words like more than, less than, more than, increased by X years later will always denote an addition. Similarly, less than, decreased, or X years ago would mean a subtraction. Just as a fraction or a percentage will imply a multiplication, or a divided by, or the word by will indicate a division, right? So when does the equal to sign come? Well, whenever you see a sentence and it has these verbs, right, these action words like is, are, was, has, have, becomes, so ye action words, these translate into the equal to sign, right? Let's take an example, a simple statement. Supposing I say Ram is 5 times as old as Sham, right? Excuse my handwriting, but I hope it's clear enough, right? Ram is 5 years. So let's go ahead and assign variables first of all. There are 2 people, their ages will be R and S. So Ram's age is R. Now the moment I start reading, R is, this is the verb, becomes equal to 5 times. Whenever you have times, you multiply 5 into what? As old as Sham. 5 into the variable that represents Sham. There you go. That's the equation, right? So in a similar manner, you can look at statements, you can construct equations, you can then solve those equations, right? Okay. Without much ado, let's look at some problems. Here's the first question. 4 years ago, age ka problem hai. 4 years ago, Ram was twice as old as his brother. Alright. That doesn't sound very hard. 4 years ago, this chap was twice as old as his brother. And then second statement talks about 3 years hence, right? So you're never talking in the present. The way we'll solve such a question, you'll assume the present ages, right? Let's say Ram and his brother are denoted by variables R and B, right? So at present, if they are R and B, then 4 years ago, we'll say R minus 4, B minus 4, right? And 3 years hence, R plus 3 and B plus 3, okay? Equation kya diya hua? 4 years ago, this is the statement. Ram was 2 times as old as brother. So R plus 4 will be 2 times R minus 4, is equal to 2 times B minus 4. What do I get? R equal to 2B minus 8, or ye plus 4 ho jayega na, minus 4. R is equal to 2B minus 4. That's equation number 1. Let's work with the second statement. 3 years hence, their combined age is 50. Which means I simply add R plus 3 and B plus 3 and say this should total 50. अब यहाँ से R का value substitute कर देते हैं. 2B minus 4 plus 6 plus B equals 50. क्या आएगा ये? 2B plus B is 3B. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 उधर चला जाएगा. 50 minus 2 is 48. Which means I'll get B as 16. And the moment I have B as 16, what is R? 2 times 16, 32. 32 minus 4, 28. R is 28. So what is the present? What is the difference of their ages at present? So difference is going to be R minus B. 28 minus 16, that's 12 years. Right? I hope that you guys found this as easy as I think it is. Do let me know in the chat if you guys are solving this. I'll be glad to wait for you to give me an answer and then discuss. Okay, here's another question. Question number 2. When the numerator of a fraction is increased by 3, it becomes 1. But when the denominator is increased by 3, it becomes 1 by 4. What's the value of this fraction? Okay. No percentages at play here, but we are dealing with fractions. Let's say the numerator is x and the denominator is y, or maybe you will take n and d, right? So originally the fraction was x by y, right? But when numerator is increased by 3, the fraction will become x plus 3 upon y. And the question says that becomes 1, okay? Which means x plus 3 equals y. अच्छा y को substitute कर देंगे ना यहाँ पे x plus 3 की जगह x plus 3 करके. Okay, move on to the second statement. When, on the other hand, when the denominator is increased by 3, so x upon y plus 3, it becomes 1 by 4. Okay, now if I cross multiply, I'll get 4x equal to y plus 3. But we already know y from there, na? So 4x equal to x plus 3 plus 3, x plus 6. So x यहाँ लेके आएंगे, 4x minus x 3x equals 6, means x equal to 2. The moment x equal to 2, I'll get y as 2 plus 3, 5. So the original fraction was 2 by 5. Incrementing numerator by 3 makes it 5 by 5, which is obviously 1. And increasing the denominator by 3 makes it 2 by 8, which is indeed equal to 1 by 4. So it ticks all my boxes. What is the value of the fraction? 2 by 5 or 0.4. That's my answer. Alright. Up until now I wasn't giving you options. The questions were type in the answer type. Here's a problem where options are available. A 2-digit number has difference of its digits as 3. अच्छा, तो options का सबसे बड़ा फायदा ये होता है that the first thing you'll do is you'll always see if you can use the options, right? Don't solve. Difference of digits is 3. Just quickly browse through the options. All of them seem to have a difference of 3. Okay, rubbish. How about second statement? The number formed by reversing the digits exceeds the number. 75% तो भूल जाओ. What it tells me is that if I reverse it, the number should be bigger. Okay, let's try and reverse each of the options. 25 को reverse करेंगे तो 52 बनेगा. बढ़ गया, increase कर गया, हो सकता है. 36 will become 63, ये भी हो सकता है. But 85 will become 58. That decreases, ruled out. 63 similarly will become 36. That's also ruled out. 52 will become 25. That's also ruled out. So C, D and E is straight away out of the window, right? Now I'm left with only A and B. So I can check whether they exceed the original number by 75%. Let's see. Is 52 25 plus exceed है ना, plus हो जाएगा by 75%. So plus 75 upon 100 times 25. Does that add up? 3/4. Okay, no chance. 3/4 तो 25 will be less than 25. तो 25 में 25 से कम कुछ वैल्यू डालेंगे तो डबल थोड़ी हो जाएगा. That is not possible, right? But with 63 does that work? With 36 does that work out? Let's see. 36 में अगर मैं 75 by 100 करूँ, right? I know that that's going to anyway reduce to 3 by 4. So 3/4 of 36. How much is that? 4 9s are 36. 9 into 3 is 27. So 27 plus 36. What do I get? I get 63, which is exactly what happens when you reverse the digits, right? So that's true, which means the correct answer should be option B. No need to make equations, no need to solve, just use the option choices, right? But having said that, I think you should know how to solve this one. Let's say the number is AB. What I do know is reversing the digits. The new number formed exceeds the old number formed, right? Which obviously means that उल्टा करने पे नंबर बड़ा हो रहा है, मतलब B A से बड़ा होना चाहिए. Correct? उल्टा करने पे digit आगे आ रहा है, वो बड़ा है. So B must be greater than A, right? Now difference of digits is told to me as 3. So first equation will be B minus A is 3. And the second equation will be that the new number BA, which will have a value of 10B plus A. Remember place value? B is in the tens place, A is in the units. So 10B plus A is the new number. This exceeds the original number by 75%, which means this will be 175% of the old number, which is AB. AB क्या है? Place value use करते हैं 10A plus B, right? And if I simplify 25 into 4, 25 into 7, and now if I cross multiply, I'll get 40B plus 4A equals 70A plus 7B, right? 70A minus 4A is 66A, 40 minus 7 is 33 times B, which means B is twice A. I take this and I substitute in the original equation. What happens? B is now 2A. So if B minus A was 3, then 2A minus A must be 3, which means A must be 3, and hence B must be 6. So the original number would have been 36. That's option B, right? Even if option choices are not available, I can still go ahead and solve this, right? I hope that makes sense to you guys. Let's go ahead and solve more questions. Here's a very simple age problem again, right? But I find sometimes students get into knots and है ना, उलझ जाते हैं इस टाइप के क्वेश्चन में. क्यों? क्योंकि इतने सारे x, y, so many complicated way in which it is presented that people get confused. I hope you're not one of them. But I still have a way out of that dilemma, right? The way out of the dilemma is that you look at each of these statements and try and assume values, right, instead of the variables. So for example, instead of these two values, let's say instead of these variables, I assume a value. Let's say I say 5 years ago, Roberto was 25 years old. Right? Now imagine this. If Roberto was 25 years old 5 years ago, how much will he be today? How will I get his present age? Well, I simply add 5 back, right? 5 साल पहले अगर वो 25 साल का था, today he is going to be 25 plus 5, 30 years old. What did I do? I added 5 plus 25. So here also you can say present age for Roberto must be 3x plus y plus 2x plus y. Right? So that becomes 5x plus 2y. No brainer, right? Okay. Now let's read the question also. How many years ago was Roberto X years old? This again confuses. Okay. Let's substitute X with, let's say, some value, right? Let's say 20. How many years ago? I know Roberto's age today. 5 years ago, Roberto was 25 years old, right? If 5 years ago he was 25, today he is 30. Okay, established. Now if I know that he's 30 years old today, how many years ago was he 20? If he's 30 today, he must have been 20 10 years ago. How did I get 10? I subtracted 30 minus 20, right? So here also you should do the same. From the present age, you subtract the age that he is supposed to be. So the required answer is going to be present age 5x plus 2y minus how much you want him to be, that is x years old. So that will take how long ago? That will be 4x plus 2y years ago. Yeah. So most of the times with linear equations and algebra, you can actually make sense of the situation by simply assuming some values. Thoda sa, like, make it specific, right? Because algebra is going to be more general. So you can make it specific just so that you can relate with it. Right? I think some of you viewers are watching me live. Feel free to let me know in the chat if these, if this is making sense. Here's a slightly more, testing question for you. I mean, if you've done the previous questions with me, then this one will seemingly be a little more complicated. Let's see if you guys can get a hang of this. Ram and Sham, 2 people. They had a certain number of chocolates with them. Okay, assume variables to denote Ram and Sham quietly. Assume that R is number of chocolates that Ram has, S is the number of chocolates that Sham has. Right? Now we try and construct these equations. Ram says to Sham, if you give me 4 chocolates, we'll end up having equal number of chocolates. So tell me in the chat, what do you think will the equation be? If you give me 4 chocolates, we will end up having equal number of chocolates. What do you think will the equation be? Let me know in the chat down below. If R and S are the equations, sorry, R and S are the variables, what would this equation be? Right? Ram had R chocolates, Sham had S chocolates, and these were the number that they had initially. Okay. What happens now? First scenario, if Ram says to Sham, if you give me. Now who gives whom? Sham gives Ram. In this case, Sham gives 4 chocolates to Ram. तो मतलब Sham के पास 4 कम हो जाएंगे, Ram के पास 4 ज़्यादा हो जाएंगे, which means Ram will end up having R plus 4, Sham will end up having S minus 4. And if the question says this results in their chocolates becoming equal, your equation is going to be R plus 4 equals S minus 4. Right? You can rewrite this as R is equal to S minus 8. There you go. I have something I can substitute in the second equation. Later on we'll do that. R as S minus 8. Okay. Second statement भी देख लेते हैं यार. What does it say? If you give me 7 chocolates, Sham बोल रहा है अब. तो Sham is asking Ram to give 7 chocolates, right? तो अब reverse होगा. Ram gives Sham 7 chocolates. मतलब Ram के पास 7 कम हो जाएंगे. Ram will have R minus 7. Sham के पास 7 ज़्यादा हो जाएंगे. S will increase by 7 chocolates. S plus 7. अच्छा, अब इन दोनों के बीच में रिलेशनशिप क्या दिया हुआ है? I will end up, मतलब मेरे पास कौन बोल रहा है? ये शाम बोल रहा है. So I will end up, मतलब मेरे पास S plus 7 having is a action word, right? Translates into equal to 4 more मतलब plus होता है ना. 4 plus what? More than double मतलब 2 times. 2 into what? द नंबर ऑफ चॉकलेट्स विद यू. किसके पास? राम के पास. राम के पास कितने हैं अब? r-7. So there you go. That's how I construct this equation. Now इसको थोड़ा सा सिंप्लीफाई करते हैं. s plus 7 will be 4 plus 2r, so that's 2r minus 14 plus 4, so minus 10. है ना? और इस इक्वेशन में हम r का वैल्यू सब्स्टिट्यूट कर देते हैं. राइट, लेट्स यूज दिस हियर. s plus 7 would be 2 times s minus 8, so 2s minus 16 minus 10. राइट, इसको सॉल्व करते हैं. 2s माइनस s तो s हो जाएगा, बाकी सबको लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में ले जाते हैं. 7 प्लस 26 इज 33. मतलब शाम के पास 33 चॉकलेट्स है, तो राम के पास कितने होंगे? 33 माइनस 8, दैट्स गोना बी 25. है ना. एक बार क्विकली चेक कर लेते हैं कंडीशंस. 25 में 4 ऐड करूंगा तो ये हो जाएगा 29. 33 से 4 सब्ट्रैक्ट करूंगा तो ये भी हो जाएगा 29. इक्वल हो रहे हैं, बिल्कुल सही. ओके, हाउ अबाउट सेकंड कंडीशन? 25 माइनस 7 इज 18. 33 plus 7 is 40. Okay, I will have 4 more than double, right? 18 into 2 36, 36 plus 4 40. Perfect. Both conditions are matching, which means the answer is correct. Ram has 25, Sham has 33. Question says how many chocolates do they have in total? So total chocolates कितने होंगे? 25 plus 33, that's 58. Right? So that's what you will end up marking. This one was a slightly more, tedious problem, but I hope solve कर पाओगे आप इसको, right? So make sure that you practice, linear equations में practice ज़्यादा important है. The more you practice, the better you'll get. Okay, here's another one. Right? I think this kind of a question came in Snap. I think some time ago it came in the Snap exam. See if you can make sense out of it. It looks very scary, right? So much इंफॉर्मेशन, इतना बड़ा सा क्वेश्चन है. इंस्टिंक्ट तो बताता है छोड़ देंगे इसको, राइट. वील वांट टू क्विक लीव दिस क्वेश्चन अलोन, बट यू शुडंट, बिकॉज इफ यू आइडेंटिफाई इट्स अ लीनियर इक्वेशन क्वेश्चन, डोंट लीव इट ना. अच्छा, तो सबसे पहले क्या करूंगा, मैं वेरिएबल्स असाइन कर लेता हूँ. रामन को a, रोहित को b. रोहित b है, 45 मोर देन सोनिया, इसको c अज्यूम करता हूँ. रोहन आ गया है, रोहन पहले नहीं था, d. 75, रोहन 75 इज 10 मोर देन सोनिया, सोनिया सी. रवि अभी तक मेंशन नहीं हुआ ना, तो ई ले लेंगे. रवि स्कोर इज 50 लेस देन द मैक्सिमम मार्क्स, इसको एम ले लेता हूं मैं. एंड व्हाट अप्रॉक्सीमेट परसेंटेज स्कोर डिड रवि स्कोर? रवि हम अज्यूम कर चुके हैं. इफ ही गेट्स 35 मोर देन रामन. ओके, वी हैव ऑल द वेरिएबल्स. लेट्स कंस्ट्रक्ट द इक्वेशंस. फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट, राम स्कोर्ड, रामन इज ए. स्कोर्ड मतलब इक्वल टू 25 लेस माइनस 25 लेस देन व्हाट? रोहित, सो b minus 25. अच्छा, रोहित इन टर्न b स्कोर्ड मतलब इक्वल टू 45 मोर देन सोनिया, 45 प्लस c. अच्छा, रोहन स्कोर्ड 75 मतलब d इज इक्वल टू 75, राइट. विच मतलब 75, राइट. 75 इज ऑल्सो इक्वल टू 10 मोर देन सोनिया. सोनिया क्या? सोनिया वेरिएबल वॉज c, विच मीन्स आई गेट c as 65. ओके, मुझे c का वैल्यू पता है, d का वैल्यू पता है. c का वैल्यू पता है तो यहां सब्स्टिट्यूट करके b का वैल्यू भी निकाल लेते हैं ना. b इज 45 प्लस 65, b विल बी 110. और b पता है तो a भी निकल आएगा. a कितना आएगा? 110 माइनस 25. 110 माइनस 25 इज 85. अच्छा, a b c d चारों वेरिएबल्स पता चल गए हैं. e का नहीं पता है, e का इक्वेशन बना लेते हैं. रवि स्कोर e इज मतलब इक्वल टू 50 लेस मतलब समथिंग माइनस 50 लेस देन व्हाट? द मैक्सिमम मार्क्स. मैक्सिमम मार्क्स से 50 कम है, राइट. व्हाट परसेंटेज ऑफ मार्क्स डिड रवि स्कोर इफ ही गेट्स 35 मोर? सो मतलब रवि स्कोर्ड e गेट्स मतलब इक्वल टू 34 मार्क्स मोर, 34 प्लस रामन कौन है? a. सो 34 प्लस a, बट a का वैल्यू तो मुझे मालूम है. सो 34 प्लस 85 इज व्हाट? e स्कोर कितना आ रहा है? 119. अच्छा, रवि का स्कोर 119 है, तो रिपोर्ट क्या करना है, निकालना क्या है? व्हाट परसेंटेज ऑफ मार्क्स डिड रवि स्कोर? मतलब रवि का स्कोर e डिवाइडेड बाय व्हाट परसेंटेज डज ही स्कोर इन द एग्जामिनेशन, मतलब डिवाइडेड बाय मैक्सिमम मार्क्स इनटू 100 करना है. e का वैल्यू पता है मुझे? हाँ बिल्कुल पता है. दिस विल बी 119 न्यूमरेटर. मैक्सिमम मार्क्स पता है क्या मुझे अभी? हाँ बिल्कुल. e का वैल्यू अगर पता है तो उसको यहां सब्स्टिट्यूट कर लेते हैं. 119 is equal to maximum marks minus 50, which means maximum marks from here maximum marks will become 119 plus 50, that's 169, right? So यहाँ इसका डिनोमिनेटर 169 हो जाएगा into 100, है ना? तो एग्जैक्टली तो कैलकुलेटर से कैलकुलेट हो जाएगा, बट इसको हम अप्रॉक्सीमेटली भी तो कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. 119 को 120 लिख दो, 169 को 170 लिख दो, इंटू 100 करेंगे तो ये 0 कट जाएगा. 1200 अपॉन 17, ये तो डिवाइड हो जाएगा ना. टेबल्स अगर याद है तो 17 इंटू 7 इज 119, 1 बचेगा 10, विच मीन्स 17 zeros are 0. डेसिमल डालोगे तो 100, 17 5s are 85. So roughly 70.5 percentage points, right? So that's what Ravi scored in the exam. He scored 70% marks, right? Just give me a confirmation in the chat if these two questions, the previous one and this one, is clear, right? I'd love to hear from you. Give me a shout in the chat. If you're not watching this live, no problem. Let me move things ahead. Okay, what we do know, right? I'm going to quickly sort of talk about the Unacademy app. देखो ये ऐप इतना अच्छा इसलिए है क्योंकि इसमें बहुत कुछ होता है, राइट? नंबर वन, यू हैव समथिंग कॉल्ड स्पेशल क्लासेस, राइट? ये फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट है, आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, यू जस्ट नीड टू रजिस्टर, राइट? रजिस्टर एंड यू कैन स्टार्ट अटेंडिंग क्लासेस देयर. मतलब एवरी एजुकेटर बिसाइड्स टीचिंग ऑन यूट्यूब also teaches on the app, right? So you can find a lot more sessions for free of cost, right? More importantly, around the exam dates, there are these marathon sessions that we conduct. I myself have taken almost 4-hour classes quite a few times. That also is happening, right? You will also get notifications about newer batches that begin, right? Batches के लिए आपको subscription plan लेना पड़ेगा, but subscription plan का एक और फायदा है. There's this new feature that the Unacademy app has introduced. It's called the Ask a Doubt feature, right? बहुत अच्छा feature है. क्या मतलब है? In case your preparation, you find that there is a question that you have, मुझसे solve नहीं हो रहा है, solution भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. What do I do? Well, log into the Unacademy app, access the Ask a Doubt, feature over there, right? Click on that. Take a photo of your question, right? You'll have to take a photo from your mobile phone, right? Or you could take a previous photo and choose it from the gallery. Either way is upload it, right? Make sure that in that image you select only the question and all the option choices, right? And then submit it, right? अगर आपने clear picture with the option choices submit किया है, very soon you will get the solution from the Unacademy's end, right? Our educators will solve it for you, right? So all you need to do, submit your doubt. यार एक बार कोशिश कर लो, try it using the feature. Why don't you visit and try this out? Okay, but continuing today's session, right? What we are talking about, we've already talked about word problems, right? कि कैसे solve करने चाहिए, linear equation बना करके कैसे solve करेंगे. But that's not the only kind of question that you get. Most of the time, CAT exam will not give you basic questions. ऐसा नहीं है कि CAT में सारे questions tough होते हैं, but then you will get some application based problems, and one of those applications is in counting the number of solutions, right? Now we'll go back one step, right? Remember I told you that when you're solving equations together, you're trying to find where the curves intersect, right? So if I consider a pair of linear equations like this, a1x plus b1y plus equal to c1 and a2x plus b2y is equal to c2, right? यहाँ पे x and y are variables, a1 b1 c1, a2 b2 c2 are constants or coefficients, right? तो मतलब ग्राफिकल पर्सपेक्टिव ये है कि मेरे पास दो स्ट्रेट लाइंस हैं, करेक्ट? तो जब हम सॉल्व कर रहे हैं और नंबर ऑफ सॉल्यूशंस पे सवाल उठा रहे हैं, सो देन द क्वेश्चन दैट वी आर आस्किंग इज, इफ आई हैव टू स्ट्रेट लाइंस, हाउ मेनी इंटरसेक्शन पॉइंट्स विल दे हैव? इट साउंड्स सिली, right? At first it sounds silly. Obviously if you have two straight lines, they can only intersect at one place. But then if you think deeper, you will realize that there are actually three possibilities. One, that they intersect at a single point, a unique solution, or that you in fact get infinite solution, not one, not two, infinite solutions. ये भी possible है. And there is a third possibility that they don't actually intersect at all. They don't have any solution at all, right? These correspond to these conditions. Obviously a unique solution, अगर आपने coordinate geometry पढ़ा है, then you will notice that the condition given over here, what is the condition? Coefficients of x का ratio and the ratio of coefficients of y, मतलब a1 by a2 और b1 by b2 unequal होना चाहिए. मतलब अगर मैं equation लिख रहा हूँ, and if I have x plus 2y is equal to 10 and I give you 2x plus 3y is equal to 15, right? What do you notice? X x के कोफिशिएंट का रेशियो 1/2 है, y के कोफिशिएंट का रेशियो 2/3 है, ऑब्वियसली ये अनइक्वल है ना. तो विदाउट सॉल्विंग यू नो दैट आई हैव वन सोल्यूशन. I don't need to solve it. I can observe and make this conclusion. It will have one solution, right? Just like, and that happens because you have two straight lines and they intersect. You know, that's the straightforward situation, right? These are lines that have unequal slopes. If you know your coordinate geometry, this will make sense to you, right? Unequal slopes. Okay. How about the second case? When will two linear equations, when will two straight lines have infinite intersection points? Well, if the lines are intersecting, overlapping. If one line lies on top of the other, all the points on the first line will also lie on the second straight line, which means all of them are points of intersection. No? So when will infinite solutions occur? When will two equations have infinite solutions? Well, if all the three ratios are equal, right? A1 by A2 भी same है as B1 by B2 and C1 as C1 by C2. मतलब example लेते हैं ना, 2x plus 3y is equal to 15, right? If you have 4x plus 6y, देखो इसको डबल किया तो इसको भी डबल करूंगा और इसको भी डबल करूंगा. क्यों? तभी जाकर के 2/4, 3/6 और 15/30 all of them are in fact 1/2. So since all the three ratios are equal, this will be a case of infinite solutions. Okay. How about no solution? Notice करो पहले दोनों अभी भी इक्वल हैं, बट तीसरा रेशियो अनइक्वल होना चाहिए. मतलब if by any chance this had not been 30, this had been 29, right? तो ये 15/29 अगर हो जाएगा तो ये not equal to हो जाएगा. And the moment this is not equal to, you'll say this is a pair of lines which are parallel to each other. And if lines are parallel to each other, they won't intersect. मतलब no solution. है ना? इस सिचुएशन को हम एक नाम और से जानते हैं. These are also called inconsistent equations, right? They call inconsistent because, right? Let me explain that, right? Look at this equation. How do you solve? X को eliminate करने की कोशिश करते हैं, right? तो पहले इक्वेशन को डबल करते हैं, तो क्या बनेगा? 4x plus 6y is equal to 30, but we already have the second equation as 4x plus 6y equal to 29. Doesn't that sound inconsistent? How can a given expression 4x plus 6y be simultaneously equal to 29 and 30? Possibly नहीं है ना. It's inconsistent because it cannot take two values at once. That's why it's called inconsistent. So there you go. These are your three conditions for unique solution, infinite solutions and no solutions, right? इसको एक बार सॉल्व करके प्रॉब्लम में डाल के देखते हैं, अप्लाई करके देखते हैं. कंसिडर टू इक्वेशंस गिवन ओवर हियर, 3x plus 4y equal to 5y equal to 14, 4x plus ky equal to 16. Find the value of k which gives me a unique solution. Unique solution का कंडीशन क्या है? a1 by a2, right? So 3/4 should not be equal to 5/k, right? तो इससे कंडीशन क्या आएगा? ये 3/4 है तो क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई कर देते हैं इनइक्वालिटी के लिए. k should not be equal to 20/3. So any value except 20/3 will give me a unique solution, right? That sounds straightforward. Okay. How about infinite solution? तीनों equal होने चाहिए. 3/4 should be equal to 5/k, but it also should be equal to 14/16. But यहाँ समस्या आ गई. If you ignore this, these two should also be equal, ना? But is this equal to 3/4? No, it's in fact equal to 7/8. So at the onset, these two are not equal. So, whatever value I put for k will have no difference, right? Which means infinite solutions is not possible. Whereas, when will it have no possible solution? No solution at all will happen when 3/4, the ratio of x coefficients and the coefficients of y, 5/k should be equal, but not equal to 14/16. Well, I can make that happen, right? Because if I equate this, I'll get k equal to 20/3, right? So when k is equal to 20/3, it will make these two equations equal, these two fractions equal, but the third fraction will still remain unequal. So it will give me a case of parallel lines, so no solution, right? So of all the infinite values that k can take, only one value gives me no solution. All other values will give me a unique solution, right? I hope that is clear to you, right? ये सब बिल्कुल basic level के questions हैं. I know some of you are probably glossing over these questions. Trust me, these are the questions that you need to attempt in the CAT. Find these questions and attempt them. Only then will you get that golden 99 percentile. अच्छा, ये वाला question देखो. Inconsistent कब होगा, right? What does inconsistent mean? Do you remember? Inconsistent means no solution. No solution means A1 by A2 equals B1 by B2 is not equal to C1 by C2. And you can see the problem. You already have 2 by 4 and 10 by 20 as equal because both of them are equal to 1 by 2. Right? Hence this is not possible. Right? Kuch bhi kar lo, no value of k will make these equations to be inconsistent. They'll either be unique solution or they'll have infinite solutions. They can't be inconsistent. Okay, here's one more. Right? Now, in this problem, the question says, for what value of p will the equations have infinite solutions? Condition yaad hai? A1 by A2 equals B1 by B2 equals C1 by C2. Right? All three ratios must be equal. Let's substitute the coefficients here. P upon 3 should be equal to P plus 4 upon 4P plus 1. In turn should be equal to 5P plus 2 upon 21 minus 3P. बट इसको सॉल्व करने में तो जान निकल जाएगी ना. इफ यू क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई यूल गेट क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन. देखो, और वो भी पेयर्स में सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा ना. इन दोनों को इक्वेट करेंगे तो यूल गेट क्वाड्रेटिक 1. इन दोनों को इक्वेट करेंगे तो यूल गेट क्वाड्रेटिक 2. क्वाड्रेटिक 1 के कुछ सॉल्यूशन आएंगे, क्वाड्रेटिक 2 के कुछ सॉल्यूशंस आएंगे. दोनों साइमल्टेनियसली ट्रू होना चाहिए, व्हिच मींस यू आर लुकिंग फॉर कॉमन सॉल्यूशंस. But then that sounds like too much work. So can I be smarter? Can I not solve? Yeah? Well, you can, right? All you need to do is, इसी expression के अंदर, why don't we use the option choices? Why not use option choices? Like, for example, if I use option A, right? पहले दोनों ratios को ही check कर लेते हैं. P अगर 5 है, तो पहला ratio होगा 5 by 3, दूसरा ratio हो गया 5 plus 4 9 upon 4 5s are 20, 20 plus 1 21, 9 upon 21. ये क्या है? 3 3s are 9, 3 7s are 21. ये तो obviously equal नहीं है, option A गलत होगा, है ना? Is option B correct? 4. So देखते हैं, 4 by 3 and 4 plus 4 8 upon 16 plus 1 17. Obviously not equal. Option B भी गलत है. Right? How about option C? 3. 3 by 3. 3 by 3 is 1. 3 plus 4 7. 3 4s are 12 plus 1 13. Obviously not equal. C is also wrong. How about D? 2 by 3 and here I'll have 6 upon 8 plus 1 9. 6 upon 9. ये भी 2 by 3 है, बहुत बढ़िया, दो तो इक्वल हो गए. तीसरा रेशियो 5 2s are 10, 10 plus 2 12 upon 21 minus 6, that's 15, है ना? 3 4s are 12, 3 5s are 15. Right? Infinite solution इससे भी नहीं आ रहा है. I think there must be a typo in this question. But दो equal आ रहे हैं, तीसरा unequal आ रहा है. It's fairly rare, right? Let's look at option E. 1 डालेंगे 1 by 3. यहाँ 1 डालेंगे 1 plus 4 5 upon 4 plus 1 5. ये भी unequal हो गया, right? So it doesn't seem likely. I think all 5 options are incorrect. That seems quite unlikely. I think इस question में कुछ typo error होगा, right? Okay, let's actually move things ahead. Let's shake things ahead. Move on to the next question. Type. देखो, अब आखिरी यहाँ तक जो कर रहे थे वो बहुत सिंपल था. Linear equations are very simple to deal with as long as you're only talking about word problems or number of solutions. The slightly more application-based problems are involving integer solutions or combining equations. तो ये दोनों problem types अब थोड़ा सा study करते हैं अगले 15-20 मिनट में, right? Integer solution के problem में क्या होता है? You'll be actually given only a single equation. The thing about integer solutions is that you don't need two equations. You can actually solve a single equation with two variables as long as there is this condition that it must have integer solutions, right? How do you do that, right? Example लेते हैं. Consider a single equation 2x plus 5y equal to 50, है ना? अब इस equation के infinite solutions, straight line ही है, infinite solutions होंगे. बट यहां क्वेश्चन क्या बोल रहा है? काउंट द नंबर ऑफ पॉजिटिव, देखो ये वर्ड सारे इंपॉर्टेंट है, पॉजिटिव एज इन इट मस्ट बी ग्रेटर देन 0 एंड इंटीजर, राइट? सो यू वांट ऑल वैल्यूज वेयर x and y आर पॉजिटिव एंड इंटीजर वैल्यूज. सो यू वांट टू काउंट हाउ मेनी सच वैल्यूज एग्जिस्ट. ठीक है, तो ये कैसे करेंगे? स्टेप बाय स्टेप अप्रोच सिखाता हूं मैं आपको, राइट? फर्स्ट स्टेप, डू अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ हाइट एंड ट्रायल and generate a single solution, right? So let's do that. Let's say I want to make a table with x and y and just generate one solution, right? Integer solution. तो इसमें से integer solution generate करना बड़ा simple होता है. Zero डाल के देखते हैं सबसे पहले. Put x as 0, what happens? If x is 0, 5y must be 50. That happens if y is 10. Okay, I have one integer solution. Is this a positive integer solution though? Are x and y both positive? No. X is not positive, x is in fact neutral. So this doesn't count, right? But it doesn't matter, it will still be a good starting point for me, right? Step 1 हो गया, एक integer solution generate कर लिया. Step 2 क्या बोलता है? कि step 2 बोलता है कि भाई you go back to the equation and try to judge what will be the movement of x and y, right? What do you want to do with x and y, right? So you go to the table. From the table, you know x is not positive, x is 0. So obviously I want to increase x. X must increase, right? But when x increases, what will happen to 2x? 2x will also increase, right? तो मतलब देखो originally x equal to 0 पे ये term 1 था, ये term 2 था, right? तो अगर मैं x को increase करूंगा तो term 1 increase कर जाएगा. But भाई उन दोनों का sum तो term 1 और term 2 का sum तो constant होना चाहिए ना. So if term 1 increases, what will term 2 do? It must decrease, right? So term 2 should decrease. But when does term 2 decrease? Term 2 will decrease when y decreases. So basically what we've established is that when x increases, 2x will increase. When 2x will increase, then 5y should decrease, which means that y should decrease, right? So मैंने इन दोनों के बीच का relationship establish कर लिया है, right? If x increases, y will decrease. So establish that relationship, right? Now step number 2 में, the second part also tells you, there is also a big hint within the equation to tell you how much you should increase by, right? Remember, you can't increase x by any value, right? So the trick is to remember x, you know, integer values of x will increase by the coefficient of y, and integer values of y will increase by the coefficient of x, right? एक बार देखो, x को increase करना है तो y का coefficient क्या है? 5. तो x को 5 से बढ़ा दो, right? Correspondingly मुझे पता है y decrease करना चाहिए. y को कितने से decrease करें? Coefficient of x. x का coefficient क्या है? 2. So y must be decreased by 2. What does this become? This becomes 8. Well, करने में तो आसान लग रहा है ना. Is it correct though? Let's substitute and check. No. What is 2 times 5? 2x plus 5y evaluate करते हैं. 2 times 5 plus 5 times 8. 10 plus 40 is indeed 50. So it is a solution, all right. है ना? अगला solution कैसे बनाए? इसको फिर से 5 से इंक्रीज करते हैं. 5 plus 5 10 हो जाएगा. ये फिर से डिक्रीज करेगा, ये 6 हो जाएगा. इनफैक्ट व्हाट यू कैन इवैल्यूएट इज दैट द मूवमेंट ऑफ इंटीजर वैल्यूज विल बी इन एन एपी, राइट? इफ यू जनरेट इंटीजर वैल्यूज ऑफ एक्स एंड इंटीजर वैल्यूज ऑफ वाई, आपको हमेशा एक अरिथमेटिक प्रोग्रेशन मिलेगा. या तो इंक्रीजिंग प्रोग्रेशन होगा या डिक्रीजिंग प्रोग्रेशन होगा. उसको कॉमन डिफरेंस क्या होगा? एक्स के लिए कॉमन डिफरेंस होगा कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ वाई, वाई के लिए कॉमन डिफरेंस होगा कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ एक्स, राइट? Okay, now the question says how many such values will exist? Well, x तो बढ़ता जाएगा, पॉजिटिव ही रहेगा, but if you see y will decrease at some point, it will become 0. देखो, 6 will become 4, 4 will become 2, 2 will become 0, 0 will become negative, right? तो ये negative और ये 0 तो काउंट ही नहीं कर सकते हैं. So you can only go up until 2. That happens when x is 15 and x is 20 respectively. तो कितने solutions आए? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So in step number 3, you know, once you know that, you know, we've already used step number 3 actually, but once you've counted, you will answer back and say there are 4 such positive integer solutions, right? Now I know this is a slightly more complicated question, right? But trust me कि ये approach अगर आप सीख जाओगे, any counting of integer solutions questions you can do in, you know, within the snap of your fingers. चुटकी बजाते बजाते हो जाएगा, right? फिर से recap करते हैं. Number 1, step 1, hit and trial करो, generate one integer solution, right? And then establish what do you want to increase. One of the two variables you will definitely have to increase because हमने दोनों को 0, मतलब एक को 0 डाला है ना, तो वो value increase करेगा. Look at the equation and judge what will happen to the other variable. Will it also increase? Will it decrease? Right? अब इसमें एक hint है, अगर x के और coefficient y के coefficient दोनों same sign के हैं तो ये opposite direction में move करेंगे, which means x increases, y will decrease. But if coefficient of x and y are opposite in sign, then their direction of movement will be in the same. x बढ़ेगा तो y भी बढ़ना चाहिए, right? So इस question में obviously coefficients are of same sign, so x increases, y will decrease, and the increments will be the other coefficient of the other variable. X ka increment will be coefficient of y ka decrease will be coefficient of x, right? And that will help you generate solutions, right? I hope this is clear to you. Let me know in the chat if you have any other questions, if you have clarification that you want me to explain, do go ahead and ask me in the chat, right? For now, I'm going to give you a question that came in the CAT, right? देखो 2006 का CAT question है ये, right? 2x plus y equals 40, right? Is an equation that's given to me, right? I want the number of solutions where x and y are both positive integers. अच्छा ये दोनों positive integers होने चाहिए, but एक और condition दिया हुआ है, x must be either less than y or equal to it, right? Step by step करें. First step क्या था? Generate one solution, right? एक solution generate करते हैं, y को 0 डाल देते हैं, या x को 0 डाल दो. x को 0 डालेंगे, y कितना हो जाएगा? 40. Okay, right? But is x less than 40? Yes. Is are x and y both positive integer solutions? No. X is neutral, so doesn't count, right? So to generate a valid solution, now what will I do? x को मुझे increase करना पड़ेगा. कितने से increase करूं? x तो भाई कोफिशिएंट ऑफ y से इंक्रीज होता है, कोफिशिएंट ऑफ y इज 1, तो मतलब x 1 से इंक्रीज होगा, तो AP बनाऊंगा 1 2 3 4 ऐसे ही चलता रहेगा, ठीक है. और कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंगली y के साथ क्या होगा? अब x और y के कोफिशिएंट्स यहाँ सेम साइन में है, सेम साइन ऑफ द कोफिशिएंट्स, राइट? एंड इफ दैट हैपेंस, देन व्हाट डज दैट टेल मी? व्हेन x इंक्रीजेस y शुड डिक्रीज, राइट? सो x को हम इंक्रीज कर रहे हैं तो y डिक्रीज करेगा. कितने से डिक्रीज करेगा? y का डिक्रीमेंट होगा कोफिशिएंट ऑफ x. क्या है कोफिशिएंट ऑफ x? दैट्स 2, right? So y should decrease by 2. 40 will become 38, 38 will become 36. तो AP बन गया ये 36, 34, 32 चलता रहेगा. अच्छा, बट ये सारे वैल्यूज लिख के थोड़ी गेस करेंगे आंसर, राइट? यू नो x will keep on increasing, x तो बढ़ता रहेगा. तो कहीं ना कहीं जाकर के अब ये वैलिड है क्या? पहला सोल्यूशन वैलिड है क्या? इज आर x and y both positive? Yes. Is x less than or equal to y? Yes. 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 At some point they'll become equal, no? तो ये इक्वालिटी वाला पॉइंट कब बनेगा? a प्लस AP का है, x का AP क्या है? a फर्स्ट टर्म 0 प्लस n-1 टर्म्स, n-1 इंटू कॉमन डिफरेंस क्या है? 1 शुड बी लेस देन और इक्वल टू nth टर्म इन द y सीरीज, राइट? दैट्स गोइंग टू बी 40 प्लस n-1 इंटू कॉमन डिफरेंस, यहां कॉमन डिफरेंस है -2, राइट? आई होप दिस मेक्स सेंस टू यू, राइट? सो व्हाट एम आई गेटिंग? आई एम गेटिंग n-1 is less than equal to 40 plus नहीं होगा ना, माइनस होगा, minus 2n plus 2, right? So 2n को यहाँ ले आएंगे, 3n should be less than or equal to what? 40 plus 2, 42 minus 1, 42 plus 1 is actually 43. That is n must be less than or equal to कितना आ रहा है? 43 by 3 कितना आ रहा है? 3 1s are 3, 3 4s are 12 and 14.3. So n should be less than or equal to 14, है ना? तो कितने टर्म हुए? इंटीजर वैल्यू चाहिए ना मुझे, सो क्लियरली n विल बी 14. So how many terms do I get? I'll get 14 terms in the series. That's your answer, option C, है ना? एक बार टेस्ट कर लेते हैं. 14th टर्म क्या होगा? If the first term is 0, right? Second term is 1, right? Okay, wait. If the first term is 0, second term is 1, 2, 3, 4, 14th term will be a plus n-1, 14 minus 1 into common difference 1, और correspondingly y का वैल्यू क्या आएगा? 40. ये 14 minus 1 13 हो जाएगा, 13 into -2 is -26. 40 minus 26 will be 14. अच्छा, ये कम है. अगला वैल्यू क्या होगा? 13 plus 1 14. This will decrease by 2, this will become 12. This is not valid because x is now greater than y, right? So इसके बाद valid नहीं होगा. यहाँ तक सारे valid होंगे. तो x can go from 1 to 13, that means the number of solutions will be 13 and not 14, right? It pays to be careful. ये आपको इनइक्वालिटी बना करके कर सकते हो, या आप लॉजिक से भी कर सकते हो ना. पढ़ाते हुए जाओ, देखो कब छोटा बन जाएगा ये, right? I leave it to your better judgment which approach you would prefer, right? But you can similarly count all solutions, right? Look at this one. It mixes the concept of linear equations and number systems, right? For a positive integer n, let Pn denote, oops, sorry about that, right? Let Pn denote the product of the digits in n, and Sn denotes the sum of the digits of n, the number of integers between 10 and 1000, matlab n lies between 10 and 1000, which means n will either be a 2-digit number or a 3-digit number, है ना. अच्छा, ऐसे कितने numbers हैं for which Pn plus Sn is equal to n, मतलब the number itself should be the sum of its product and sum. तो एक काम करते हैं, दोनों केसेस कंसिडर करते हैं, या तो नंबर होगा AB या नंबर होगा ABC, ठीक है. बट रिमेंबर AB और ABC will not be the, will be, you know, A into B नहीं है, ये AB है, right? So consider my equations. 2-digit number AB will be equal to 10A plus B. Similarly 3-digit number ABC will be equal to place values 100A plus 10B plus C, है ना. इक्वेशन ये बनेगा, इक्वेशन नहीं, ये नंबर का रिप्रेजेंटेशन है. बट इफ दिस इज n, and the question also says that this value should also be equal to Pn plus Sn. देखो पहले कंडीशन 2-digit नंबर पे लगाते हैं, राइट. Pn, the product of the digits will be A into B plus sum of digits will be A plus B. This should be equal to the number itself, which is 10A plus B, है ना. तो इक्वेशन ये बन गया, B और B कैंसिल आउट हो जाएगा, 10A minus A is 9A and this is A into B, right. मतलब A कॉमन ले लो, into B minus 9 is equal to 0, which means either A is 0, can A be 0, can the 2-digit number start with 0, no, that's not possible, or B is equal to 9, right, which means that as long as the 2-digit number ends in 9, it's a valid number of this kind, right. check करो, let's take any random number, 39 test करते हैं, right. 39, is it equal to the sum of the digits? Sum of digits क्या है? 9 plus 3 is 12. What about product of digits? 9 into 3 is 27. Is this equal? Yes, that's true, right. So all 2-digit numbers ending in 9 will be of this type. ऐसे कितने numbers होंगे फिर? Which means I'll go from 19 to 99. How many numbers? 19. आप fingers में भी count कर सकते हो, but right, you will figure out that this is a total of 9 numbers. Okay, so there are 9 2-digit numbers. Okay, how about 3-digit numbers? Again use the same condition. Product of digits will be A into B into C plus sum of numbers will be A plus B plus C. Sum of product and the sum should give me the number itself, that's 100A plus 10B plus C, right. C and C will get cancelled out, right. देखो, और एक काम करते हैं, A को लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में ले आते हैं, A into B into C minus A minus 100A is minus 99A. This should be equal to 10B minus B, that's 9B. ये कंडीशन क्या आ रही है, देखो A कॉमन ले लेते हैं, A into B times C minus 99 should give me 9 into a digit B, right. But tell me, at first glance this might look like an equation that you can solve, right. But गौर से देखो इसमें, what is B and what is C? B and C are digits, right, which means B and C can take values from 0 to 9 only. मतलब maximum value of B will be 9, maximum value of C is also 9, so the maximum value of the product B into C will be 9 into 9 81. तो भाई 81 में से या 81 से कम अगर कोई एक प्रोडक्ट आ रहा है, उसमें से 99 सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे तो नेगेटिव आएगा ना. ओके, उसको फिर मैं A से मल्टीप्लाई करूंगा तो प्रोडक्ट फिर भी नेगेटिव होगा, which means I can say that the LHS is always negative. Is that true of the right hand side? Right hand side negative कब होगा? That's only possible if B is negative. But then right hand side is never negative. It can only be, if B is 0, it can be 0. If B is positive, it can be a positive product, right? It can never be negative, which means this condition is never true, right? So this means that there will be no 3-digit number which satisfies this condition, which means all the possibilities will include just the 2-digit 9 values. So answer will be option D. मजा आया? ये CAT का question है, right? And I know that, you know, I've gone step by step. I've shown you this every step of the way. In the exam, you know, I know you as well as myself, we both will do this question a lot faster, but challenging जरूर है ये, right? But remember, linear equation बना के solve भी तो करना है, possible. Okay, I'm going to leave this question on your screen for you to solve yourself. Go back, watch this video again, pause the video, read the question, try this yourself. You should get let me quote the answer here. You should get the answer as, how many cookies does she buy? She buys 11. Okay, now this is a second question type I want to discuss. The last type of miscellaneous problem is when, let's look at this linear equation ही है ना. Let's say it says price of 2 pens, 3 pencils and 1 eraser. Let's say पेन का प्राइस A है, पेंसिल का प्राइस B है, इरेजर का प्राइस C है, राइट. तो इक्वेशन क्या बनेगा? 2A प्लस 3B प्लस C इक्वल टू 10. एक और इक्वेशन दिया हुआ है, प्राइस ऑफ 1 पेन A, 2 पेंसिल्स 2B, 3 इरेजर्स 3C इज 13, है ना, इक्वल टू 13. दो इक्वेशन बन गए. तीसरा इक्वेशन चाहिए होगा ना सॉल्व करने के लिए. Am I given a third equation? Oops, I'm not given a third equation. I'm only given these two. And then I'm asked something. What am I supposed to calculate? What will be the price of 1 pen A, 4 pencils that's 4B, and 13 erasers that's 13C? What is the value of K? Right? This is what I want to calculate. Right? Now at first glance, you'll think, यार 3 वेरिएबल है, अननोन्स है, 3 इक्वेशन चाहिए तभी सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. So you'll be tempted to mark cannot be determined, right? But don't be so hasty, right? This is a special kind of question where even if you have fewer equations, you might not actually. देखो क्वेश्चन देखो गौर से, that will give you a hint. क्वेश्चन में ये नहीं मांगा है what is the price of a pen or what is the price of a pencil. It doesn't ask you for the value of A, B or C. It asks you for the value of a expression, right? So the thought behind that, the thought that you should have is, can I combine the two equations? Can I somehow combine them, right, to make this expression? Can I somehow do that? तो अगर ये thought आ गया है दिमाग में तो इसको execute करते हैं, right? So step by step, this is what you should do. Consider constants P and Q, right? Combine करने के लिए कुछ multiply करके combine करोगे ना, directly add करके तो बन नहीं रहा ये. तो combine करने के लिए we'll need some constants P and Q, which if you multiply and add gives me the required expression, right? तो basically मैं क्या बोल रहा हूं, P times 2A plus 3B plus C plus Q times A plus 2B plus 3C will give me A plus 4B plus 13C, right? Basically left hand side में P से और Q से multiply करके अगर मैं combine करता हूं तो required expression बन जाएगा A plus 4B plus 13C. But what I can now do, writing it this way, I can compare the coefficients of A and B. यहाँ देखो A का coefficient क्या है यहाँ पे 2P plus Q will be the coefficient of A. B का coefficient क्या होगा 3P plus 2Q will be the coefficient of B. और C का coefficient क्या होगा P plus 3Q, that will be the coefficient of C. And this should respectively be 1A, 4B and 13C, right? तो मैं इन दोनों को equate कर सकता हूँ ना. So put 2P plus Q equal to 1, right? Coefficient of A equate कर लिया हमने. Similarly, coefficient of B equate करो, 3P plus 2Q should also be 4, right? Now try and solve these two simultaneously, right? मतलब इसको डबल करके सबट्रैक्ट कर लेते हैं, इसको डबल करते हैं, ये बनेगा 4P plus 2Q. क्यों डबल कर रहा हूँ? ताकि Q एलिमिनेट हो जाएगा. I have 4P plus 2Q is equal to 2 and I also have 3P plus 2Q is equal to 4. So if you subtract 4P minus 3P will be P, ये और ये कैंसिल आउट हो जाएगा. So P will be equal to 2 minus 4, P will be minus 2, right? और अगर P equal to minus 2 यहाँ सब्स्टिट्यूट कर दूं तो Q का वैल्यू क्या आएगा 1 minus 2P. So 1 minus 2 into P which is itself minus 2. So 1 plus 4 बनेगा, this is 5, है ना. तो Q equal to 5 and P equal to minus 2 will successfully ensure that these two coefficients become 1 and 4. बट एक हमने अभी चेक नहीं किया है ना. व्हाट अबाउट कोफिशिएंट ऑफ सी? एक बार चेक करो साइड में, चेक फॉर सी. सी का कोफिशिएंट लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में क्या है? P plus 3Q. सो P plus 3Q कैलकुलेट करता है. दिस विल बी P is minus 2 and 3 times 5 is 15. 15 minus 2 is 13, है ना. इज दैट व्हाट यू वांट? एब्सोल्युटली दैट्स व्हाट यू वांट, है ना. तो तीनों वेरिएबल्स में सेम कोफिशिएंट बन गए जो मुझे चाहिए थे, राइट. नाउ व्हाट शुड आई डू इन द एंड? नाउ दैट द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड हैज बीन कंस्ट्रक्टेड, you will say the right hand side should also then be equal, na. So equate the RHS now, राइट, आरएचएस को इक्वेट करो, देखो आरएचएस में क्या आएगा, यहां पे आएगा p इंटू 10 प्लस q इंटू 13 शुड बी इक्वल टू k, है ना, तो k का वैल्यू निकालना था, p इंटू 10 विल बी -20, q इंटू 13, 5 इंटू 13 इज 65, 65 minus 20, answer is 45. There you go. The required answer, the required value of that expression k would be 5. Sorry, would be 45. Right? I hope you guys got a flavor of how we can combine equations. Right? ये बहुत एक simple example से मैंने समझाया है. Right? There is one more question over here. I will leave this on the screen for you guys to try yourself. Again, you can see two equations have been given. And a third expression needs to be found out. इसको equal to k assume कर लीजिए, right? And then combine by multiplying this with p and this with q. Equate coefficients of x and y. Solve to get p and q. Then check for the coefficient of z. Only if it is equal will you be able to determine the value of k. If the coefficient of c does not matches, say cannot be determined. ठीक है? Well, on that note, we will stop our session for the day. I hope linear equations में I've covered all variety of problems, right? Word problems हमने बिल्कुल simple level से start करके we finished with slightly more application based tough question types, right? That's going to be the theme of my course here. Algebra cover करेंगे. We will start with the basic stuff, but trust me, algebra में इतना सारा variety है. I will expose you to the kind of tough questions that come in the CAT. बट याद रखना, ऑब्जेक्टिव कभी ये नहीं है कि बहुत टफ क्वेश्चंस करने हैं. नो, ऑब्जेक्टिव इज ऑलवेज कैन आई सॉल्व इट, एंड इफ आई कैन लर्न हाउ टू सॉल्व इट देन अ टफ क्वेश्चन बिकम्स इजी, राइट? सो द लास्ट टू प्रॉब्लम टाइप्स, इंटीजर सॉल्यूशंस एंड कंबाइनिंग इक्वेशंस, they are challenging but they're doable, right? And I hope that you guys think of it that way. Well, in order to keep learning, in order to be regular, do check out the Unacademy app. A plus subscription gives you plenty of advantages, right? All of these advantages come to you if you enroll yourself, subscribe to one of these plans, download the app, click on plus, choose the goal as CAT, click on subscribe. You'll see a lot of these pricing options on the screen, right? All the way from 1 month to 24 months. Choose as long a course as you possibly can, right? And make sure that you use my referral code. That's AV01 because it gives you a 10% referral bonus, right? जो भी price है 10% घट जाएगा, right? Make sure that you try that. Even downloading the app itself is very useful because it also helps with some of these other courses, right? If you have friends and relatives who are preparing for JEE, NEET, etc., please do check out the app. It has plenty of offerings, right? Special classes, marathon sessions, plus courses, right? Much more, right? And parting words, on YouTube we have this channel that you should be following, Unacademy for CAT. If you're following some other channel, I'll ask you to stop right away, go on YouTube, check and subscribe to CAT4MBA. There is there are daily live sessions on multiple topics at different time slots, right? Literally you can prepare 24 hours, right? I know you don't want to do that, but possibility है. So much live, lectures are going on here. Please do check them out. Number one. Number two, if you want the schedule for all of this, subscribe to our Telegram channel. There's a Unacademy channel, CAT4MBA, right? That will give you all educators and their batch plans. But if you want specifically my schedule, right, download my Telegram channel. That's Anand for Quant. The name of my channel is Unacademy _Anand Venkatesan, and all my daily schedules will be shared there. If you're already here, just quickly I'll tell you, I do a session daily at 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the evening. 6 to 7, 8 to 9. 6 to 7 is like a revision course for this year snap. January में होने वाला है snap. There are 2 dates, 6 and 9. So I'm helping students quickly revise for snap, right? The 8 to 9 batch is a longer term batch. I'm only going to do algebra in the next couple of in the next week and so, but we will cover algebra in a lot of depth every single day from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So do join me on a daily basis, right? I really ask you to give me a thumbs up in the chat, give me a press the like button, obviously subscribe, but do come back tomorrow, right? That's my time, guys. Have a great day. All the best.